Alright, so today I really need to talk about the Oblivion remaster. Don't worry, I got another Dwarf Fortress video in the works, but today is about Oblivion. I'm gonna just come right out with it. I like it. This has been a pretty divisive one. Yes and no, it's been like divisive. Some people are really mad. They're like, don't touch the old games. If you're not gonna put the effort into it and like you're gonna, change anything, then we don't want it. I am on the opposite side. I'm really enjoying this. I've already put a bunch of hours into it. I rolled a new character. I've closed the first gate of Oblivion. I've joined the Thieves Guild, the Assassins Guild, the Mages Guild. I'm having trouble remembering where the Fighters Guild starts for some reason, but I'm working on that too. I really liked it. That said, there are some pros and cons, and we're going to talk about that today. So for context, I definitely played the first game. I bought it physically back when they added, there was like a commemorative coin and stuff that came with the box, like way back in the ancient days of whatever, 2004, I'm going to say. I should look that up before I commit to that, but like early 2000s, and it was incredible. I played through it. I would say I've played through Morrowind, maybe 3 times. I played through Oblivion probably 20 times, the original version, and then Skyrim countless times. So, and a big Fallout fan as well. So I know what I'm talking about. I've been with Bethesda since, for decades now. So I hope that carries a little bit of weight when I say that this is a good remaster. All they did, they updated the graphics, they made things look shinier, more modern, things load faster. Okay, so here's a con that people are talking about. It is like 10 times the size of the original game. I don't know. I'm playing it on PlayStation 5, so the optimization has been pretty good, and the space is frankly not that much of an issue. I don't mean to flex if that's not somebody else's situation. Like if you play on a desktop or, a gaming laptop or something, then 120 gigabytes is pretty shocking, is pretty obstructive. And, I told a friend who does a lot of Game Pass, I was like, yeah, you should check this out. And, it was like a struggle for him to clear space on his hard drive. So that does bear mentioning. It is strange that it would get that big when the original game was tiny in comparison, and they didn't seem to add that much, but that really hasn't been an issue for me, at least. So that bears mentioning as a con. In terms of things I actually experienced, where I was like, oh, that's, not ideal, is I had a classic Bethesda crash right during the tutorial, right when Boris, I want to say his name is, that one of the blades, one of the main guards, he turns to you and he asks you a question that lets you set your class, choose if you're going to be a warrior or what, main basic class you're going to choose. He turned to me and he prompted me, and the game crashed for the first time. Crashed so hard that my PlayStation 5 scolded me. My PlayStation was like, hey, you need to shut your PlayStation down more carefully in the future, because that, has the potential to hurt the system. The same error it gives when a power outage turns it off by surprise. But so, that's arguably just standard for Bethesda games. Terrible crashes. And I only had one now, so I've played for 5 hours now, 5 or 6 hours, I would estimate, and I've only had one crash like that, so it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Okay, so that said, another thing that this one I feel is more maybe legitimate. This is the main issue. The complaints I've heard. Some people have complained that they changed male and female to body type 1 and 2. I'm not getting into the culture war on this one. I think that was maybe an unnecessary change, but I'm also not going to spend a single minute of my day getting politically wound up in either direction about that. That one is so minor I wouldn't have noticed it if nobody pointed it out. The one con that I am maybe sold on, that maybe they shouldn't have done this, is that they took away all corpse physics. That also seems like a strange thing to get upset about. But so they took away all corpse physics, which means that when you kill somebody or kill something, kill an animal, it does the fall down ragdoll animation, and then it sets itself permanently wherever it landed. And you cannot, in any other Bethesda game, there's a mechanism where you can kind of grab onto the body and drag it, so you can move things. Say, for example, you attack some character and you end up killing them in their house. So now that's a classic thing in Oblivion and a lot of Bethesda games. That house is now kind of yours. They're not going to really have visitors or anything, and the visitors are honestly not even going to notice the body, because the way the crime and alert system works is if they see you doing something, they get upset. But after it's done, nobody really notices. But so for one example, I killed an innkeeper, and you might see footage, I'm not sure. I killed an innkeeper and he kind of died propped up strangely against the table he was standing behind, and so now he's permanently there. I can't move him, I can't stash his body somewhere. He is permanently splayed like a strange mannequin behind the innkeeper's desk. So that, that's a little weird. It'd be nice to be able to move bodies. I guess that was an optimization thing. Oh, so that leads me into a pro, which is, it's not impressive, but the fact is that the loading screens are non-existent. It pops up the traditional loading screen that I remember, 20 years ago, when you could go get a cup of coffee or something. You could go get a snack, take a stretch break, because it would be 30 seconds or a minute. Those loading screens pop up for 5 to 10 seconds max. max, and then you're right back into the game, so I like that. Another major pro is it does honestly look a lot cooler. You're still, so this is something that you need to going in, is that like it is definitely built in the original Oblivion engine, but then they have like an Unreal Engine overlay over it that redoes all the graphics. So like the game almost looks passable for, let's say, a game from 10 years ago instead of 20 years ago. They fixed a lot of the jank. You know, if you played the original Oblivion, you know that like everyone is this weird moon-faced abomination, basically. Just a horrible, unpleasant to look at character. Like every single character is, more or less. And they fixed a lot of that where like, especially the main NPCs that you have to interact with, like Joffrey and Martin and Emperor Septim, they really look like a decent character from either like a modern indie game or like a game from 10 years ago, which is a serious improvement because every character in Oblivion was previously hard to look at. They kept a lot of the same old voice acting, which is nice. You know, it's very cozy. It really does feel like, it feels almost like, you know, when you're like nostalgic for a game from your childhood and you remember it looking so good and then you go back and it looks so bad and you're like, oh man, my nostalgia really kind of carried me through this. This upgrade is basically like just an adjustment against that, where it's like, you're like, oh, this game, it was so good and it looks so good. And they've just kind of tweaked all the graphics up enough that it like matches your nostalgia, where you're like, yeah, it looked pretty old, but it still looked good. And that's how I would describe the graphics now, as like, it still looks pretty old, but it looks good, at least in most cases, to the point where you're not like turned off by it, which is nice. And it still has a lot of the same jank. You know, it's still like, you'll be walking and it'll take your character and snap, like forcefully turn them around to face the new character who's then staring directly at you, or even a lot of times like staring over your head, like they're not making good eye contact, or they're looking at you through like a robe, you know, that a normal human person would like adjust so that they can actually make eye contact. But stuff like that, which was charming and good in the original Oblivion in its own way, that's still there. So yeah, that's honestly my summary. I just want to check in with everybody because it's been a little while. I do have another Dwarf Fortress video cooking in the oven. I'm working on that same map you saw from last time, and we're probably gonna, so actually in Dwarf Fortress they've added a lot of stuff that makes the adamantium, you know, the breach into hell, a lot more interesting. It gives you a lot more warnings and a lot of like mini challenges before you get in there. So I'll probably cover that in the next video. If you like this video, feel free to like it and subscribe, all that jazz. Any engagement helps the channel. Leave a comment, tell me I'm right or wrong, you know. And yeah, I'm gonna get right back into playing Oblivion. It's been a salve, it's been a balm on my soul. It's felt good. It's felt good to play Oblivion again. So I would definitely, if you have this hard drive space, if you have a machine that can run it, because again, the size and the requirements, the RAM requirements and everything have gone up in a way that's definitely a con. Like, it really feels like they could have done this more optimized. But if you got a PlayStation 5 or something, I say go for it on this one. I've been having a lot of fun and I have been dedicating my weekend to it. So yeah, go for it. And yeah, I'll catch everybody in the next one.